BCM240 Assessment 3 by Desiree Belcastro and Nathan Turnbull. A day in the life of a One Direction fangirl. Once upon a time there was a young girl named Jessica. She was 14 years old and your average Sydney girl. She went to St. James High School. She didn't particularly like high school because she wasn't all that popular. Jessica found it hard fitting in. She didn't have that many friends, and there were a group of mean girls that used to bully her for this. They used to shout things like, "You are so ugly and weird and a big fat freak," and laugh straight afterwards. This, of course, made Jessica really upset, and most days she'd end up crying. Jessica used to go home from school, still really upset. Watching television was a one place to retreat. She watched her favourite show, The X Factor. One afternoon she heard a group performing. They were called One Direction. And they were singing their hit song, "That's What Makes You Beautiful." And she fell in love instantly. Straight away, she was starting to learn all the lyrics and was dancing around her living room, and she'd forgotten all about those nasty girls from school. So Jessica reached to her pocket and grabbed her iPhone. She went onto iTunes and searched all of the One Direction hits and downloaded the entire playlist. Then Jessica went onto her computer. She went on Twitter and followed them, and went on Facebook to like their page. This way she'd never miss an update. There was a status post on Twitter that said, "We're coming to Australia." Of course, Jessica was thrilled and excited. "OMG," she shouted. At once, Jessica went back onto her computer and searched to buy the tickets. She decided to go for the VIP tickets. They were $300, but that didn't stop her. After this, she went on Google and searched for the One Direction fan clubs. The ultimate onedirectioners.com.au was a place where you could chat with other One Direction fans. This was very exciting to Jessica. Finally, she'd have friends that she could talk to about things that she was interested in. So she opened the One Directioners fan club's chat page, where she spoke to other young girls about their upcoming concert. These girls were around Jessica's same age, and they all shared the common interest of loving One Direction. After meeting these girls online, Jessica would call them and they'd have chats about who they loved the most out of the One Direction group. She then suggested if they wanted to sleep over at her house before the concerts. This way they could make t-shirts and signs for the concert. They all agreed and were very excited. The next day, Jessica's mum shouted out from the kitchen that she had some mail. They had arrived, the One Direction VIP tickets that she'd been waiting for. The night before the concert. So the girls all came to Jessica's house the night before, all very excited. Immediately, they made their One Direction t-shirts. One of her friends even made a One Direction hat. Although it didn't stop there, the girls even made their personalised "We Love You One Direction" banners. They were all ready to go to the concert. After waiting in hours, the girls got to the front of the mosh pit, and they were so excited. They couldn't wait to finally see their idols, the group that brought these three best friends together. They were taking photos and were so excited amidst the crowd. When the boys came on stage, the girls were screaming frantically, and they couldn't believe their eyes. They sang their favourite songs and also said, "We love our fans." This made the girls go crazy. They were all very star-eyed, looking up at their idols. They were screaming and crying and dancing, having the time of their lives. After the concert had ended, the girls all went home and were off to sleep. They were so exhausted from the concert. Although this didn't stop them from taking their merchandise off. "Good night, guys," said Jessica, and her friends said they were so glad to meet her. The next day, Jessica went to school. She was still so excited from the night before, although the nasty girls had returned. Immediately they shouted insults. "Hey idiot, hey loser, hey loner," ha ha ha, they'd all laugh. And she just replied, "Hey." The girls didn't know what to do. They were so shocked from her not giving a response. Jessica was so confident because she now had friends. So Jessica lived happily ever after, thanks to her newfound friends, and especially thanks to One Direction. The end. Inspired by Jenna Marbles. Draw your life.